With the rise of these alien encounters and UFO sightings, I'm sure you've seen them in the news lately, we've decided to reveal some about who we are and what we know. First off, who is we? In our current form, we're a small order composed of clerics and laypersons who have sworn to confront certain evil powers active in this world, namely supernatural evil, the demonic. Perhaps I should start at the beginning. I'll keep the details vague, but I'm sure if anyone wanted to do the legwork, I think it'd be possible to piece together the details from historical record. Still, it's not information I think should be easily found, at least not yet. We were founded by a pair of brothers many years ago. The older brother was a tradesman, a smith, while the younger was the village priest. Their village was fairly remote and quite small. Their local lord largely ignored them, focusing on some of the larger, more productive villages under his control. This left them largely on their own, mostly left to govern themselves. Unfortunately, that also meant in times of hardship, their pleas went largely ignored. That was the situation when they found themselves tormented by a large serpent. According to surviving records and oral history, the description of the serpent pretty much matches what we'd think of as a dragon. The following is taken from the journal of that priest. For 2 fortnights, a terrible serpent has tormented the congregation. They report it killing livestock and cursing their fields, which were once bountiful and are now filled with rot. I have sent word to the local lord, but as of yet, he has only dismissed us and expressed that he still expects the customary tribute at the normal time. The people have fallen into despair. Some no longer attend the liturgy. I will convene with my brother to determine what can be done. The next entry follows a few days later. It reads, "My brother and I have decided to face the beast ourselves. My duty and vows compel me to seek to remedy the despair of my people, and my brother would not hear of my facing this cursed serpent myself. None but us are willing to confront the beast, except of course my nephew, a boy of only 12. He was indignant that he be left behind, but has been convinced to wait by my request that he watch over his mother and baby brother while we are gone. We shall set out tomorrow before dawn." They did indeed face the dragon, though his written description of events was fairly short. Oral tradition is that he didn't want to give the evil permanence in this world by recording it on paper. His brief entry simply says, "We have returned alive, if only barely. The serpent was no natural beast, and battle was as much spiritual as it was material. We have made plans to travel the cathedral and demand an audience with His Excellency to discuss this matter." They were able to see their bishop, and they worked their way up the chain through exorcists and cardinals and theologians until their story had been thoroughly reviewed and declared credible. After that, it didn't take long for them to become the go-to folks to resolve any reports of evil serpents or other demented goings-ons. Soon after, they officially formed the order devoted to this cause. The brother of the priest, my great ancestor, taught his children his trade, smithing, but he also taught them his other, less conventional trade as well. 2 of his sons followed their uncle's example and God's prompting, becoming priests, while his other sons followed their father. All of them continued the fight against these unnatural evils. Every generation since is kept to this family duty. A few generations were never called upon to fight. Others faced only 1 or 2 encounters, and a few generations, like mine, have faced many of these demonic foes. There had been a lull in enemy activity from around the 18th to the start of the 20th century. We're not sure why. Records say the few evils we fought during that period said that most of the people of the time were better hunted by other means, though being of demonic origin, that information should be taken with a heap of salt. Whatever the reason, they have seemed to redouble their efforts as of late. Not only in sheer numbers, but increasingly complex ways. Instead of the obvious forms like dragons or serpents, they took on new forms, some already established in folklore, like Mothman type stuff, and some new ones like reptilians, which I know at this point are ubiquitous in pop culture, but they were the ones who started that to spread conspiracy theories for whatever purpose. We have theories on why they're doing it, but none are substantiated enough to spread around at this point. The most significant or concerning, as stated above, are the manifestations pretending to be visitors from another world. These started to become more common around the Second World War and are the majority of their operations today. Not all UFOs are these demonic manifestations, obviously. A lot of them are human military crafts, though even then, many of these human crafts have been built under the guidance of these false little green men, which is part of why we have been particularly concerned. They have convinced most world powers that they are friendly visitors, happy to help humanity advance. Now, we have nothing against technology in general. It operates via natural means, and it's the dominion of man to discover natural laws and how to follow those laws to build new things. Our concern is to what end are they teaching humans these laws? The demonic does not help us for our own good, and the dangers of trusting information from such a source to be complete and unadulterated is clearly foolish. We have informed the major powers working with them of their true nature, but the utility of the technology is too self-evident, and the dangers and existence of their plot too ill-defined. None of the powers are willing to reject this Faustian shortcut and risk falling behind their national rivals. Thus, we find ourselves in our current predicament. So far, no governments have tried to stop us from fighting these evil forces. As long as we haven't interfered with the crafts of human origin, they've been content to leave it between us and the demonic. However, we have reason to believe governments will not tolerate our holy war against the demons they have befriended for long. And we think soon we may face not just these demonic foes, but human ones as well. I'm sure you've seen the recent rise in leaks around the subject of extraterrestrials. A lot of people, us included, I guess, think that something big is on the horizon. Our sources corroborate these rumors. That's why we're putting this out there. People need to know that these beings can't be trusted. Even if they were natural beings, they would still be capable of deception, and these supernatural foes are far more intelligent and cunning than any human or alien mind that you can conceive of. My family and I have been fighting these forces for millennia, but soon it's possible that with the help of powerful men we may be outnumbered and outmatched. I beg you, prepare yourself for this supernatural battle that may soon come to define our era.